Bismillahi walhamdulillahi wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillahi wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. I'd like to be protected, and so would you, from all harm and evil. One of the things that the Almighty has done for us in a very, very clear and distinct way is teach us how to protect ourselves from all harm, any harm that can come in our direction. As we are little, obviously the duty is on our parents or those around us. And when we grow a little bit older, I will get to exactly what we're supposed to be doing as believers to protect ourselves. So firstly, if you have little ones, be they little brothers and sisters, or you have a child of your own or a grandchild, isn't it one of the norms of a human being to want to protect them from harm? And for this reason, even if they're cold, what do? You put a blanket on. If they're very hot, what do? You might take off some of the blanket or the warm clothing. You might turn on a fan. Why? You don't want the child to make a sound. You don't want them to cry. When they cry, it bothers you. And Allah says, Allah is much more merciful upon us than our own parents and those around us. So naturally, Allah Almighty would be more interested in protecting us from harm and saving us from the real crying of the Day of Judgment and beyond by telling us, listen, this is what you're supposed to be doing. So do it for yourself and you will be protected not just from the harms in this particular world, but even from that which is to follow in the hereafter. So as I was saying, a little child, it's natural and normal for us to want to save the child from harm. If you see a child as they grow older, they're about to fall, they're about to slip, or they're just learning how to walk, we would hold their hands and make sure that they don't trip, make sure that they don't fall. We'd buy for them whatever is available for us technologically. They're advanced things now, and be they toys or the walking aid or whatever you might call it, in order to help this child. The same applies to speaking and so many other things. What do you want to see? You want to see goodness for this child who ultimately belongs actually to Allah. Evidence of it is you did not have the child prior to the moment Allah gave you the child. Look at those who don't have children. We always say, pray that Allah bless you with children and them with children. And pray that those children are going to be a blessing for you, and pray that they're going to be successful in this world and the next. And why do we say this? Because we know it's not up to me, it's not up to me fully to have children. People say, I remember years ago I met someone and I told the brother, you got married? He says, yes, I've been married for 2 years. I say, oh, mashallah. I don't like to ask, do you have children? Because you don't know what might or might not be. He says, I know it's been 2 years, but now we're planning to start a family. Oh, mashallah. Interesting type of information. We're planning to start a family. What I understood from that is perhaps they hadn't planned to have children for the first 2 years. Yeah, not a bad thing. Sometimes we recommend that too, to be able to get to know your spouse and so on. And it's not prohibited to do that. But they didn't have children for years after that, for whatever Allah Almighty had wanted. So you can plan to have. If Allah doesn't want to give you, you won't have. Agreed? It means Allah is the one who's going to give you, and you're going to be blessed by Allah with something. You consider it a blessing, but don't you agree? There comes a point in the life of your children when you're worried, are they going to remain a blessing, or are they going to become the source of my own perhaps stress or downfall, or the source of my distress, should I say. Many people have children, and sometimes they'll tell you, you know what, the very children that I reared and helped to grow up to this age are the source of my sadness. May Allah protect all of us. So that's why we realize it's a gift from Allah. Consider it a gift. Thank Allah. Naturally, we love little children, we want to protect them. Allah loves us even more than that and wants to protect us. So what do we do? Well, we can talk about it from two different angles. One is that which is connected to this world and protection. I want to be protected because as I grow older, I might be first in my class. I might do very well in sports. I might become perhaps something that others haven't. Jealousy may overtake them and they may want to harm me. Look at the story of Yusuf alayhi salam. His own brothers were jealous of his closeness to his father to begin with, and later on the brothers were jealous in so many different ways, and that jealousy resulted in them wanting to plan the destruction of their own brother. Who was that? That was Shaitan. That was the devil. And how do I know it was the devil? Well, Yusuf alayhi salam was a prophet of Allah, and at some point he says, later on when everything was exposed, he told his brothers, he said, you know what, I forgive you, don't worry, no retribution today. Allah has blessed me in so many ways, and Allah did this for me and that for me. After the time when Shaitan had come and separated us. Min ba'di an nazagha shaitanu bayni wa bayna ikhwati. He says after Shaitan had come and done what he did. So Shaitan wants us to fight, to harm each other. He wants us to be jealous, not realizing by you being jealous of someone, it's not going to give you that thing at all. Ask Allah. If anything, Allah tells you when you help someone, we will help you even more than you've helped that person. When you help someone come up, we will make sure that you're even higher. And the heights in the eyes of Allah are not only the heights of this world. Primarily, even if you don't have that much on earth, but if you're successful for eternity later on, isn't that a greater gift of Allah Almighty? So my brothers and sisters, Allah tells us whenever you've achieved something immediately related to me, wow, that's a means of protection. Don't let it make you haughty. Don't let it make you proud, arrogant. Don't let it make you think I'm someone and something and I, because no, it's from Allah. How many people overnight Allah's taken away what He gave them? How many people have lost their sight overnight? May Allah restore their sight. How many people Allah has tested with so many challenges after they thought they were it? Agreed? So many people. So Allah tells you, protect yourself from your own self. Protect yourself from the harm of yourself. Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min sharri nafsi. Oh Allah, I seek your protection from the evil of my own self. I'm going to harm my own self. Why? Because your character and conduct has headed in the wrong direction, where you are not even protected from your own weaknesses. Against yourself, you're going to do something that's going to result in your own downfall. Therefore, my brothers and sisters, constantly call out to Allah, worship Allah alone, ensure that you fulfill your obligations unto Allah to the best of your ability, and be humble.